Are you doing meditative dance? What is this?
Such pleasant, and
Stevie Wonder impersonation.
it's just very pleasant intro after everything else.
Ding,
Everything else
ding.
is so abrasive. It's just like, yeah, this is nice. It's calm.
It's evening at the cinema.
An evening at the cinema, darling. That's correct. Welcome,
Mwah.
ladies and gentlemen, to the cinema, to UCL Cinema Club, also known as assigned seating, where we are here to discuss the hits, the misses, the cult classics, and all of the above. Vera, you're very rapidly becoming my co-host for this all the time. Like it.
I love movies. Going to see Wicked tomorrow. I already got my tickets.
Yes. Speaking of green things, I decided to team with the theme a little bit today. I was like, oh, okay, we need to make a bit of an effort. But this one's been coming for a hot minute, and we are live too, of course.
I know.
Hey, hello there, Cosmic Dragon
Hi.
Paranormal. We don't do this one live a lot. I think we've done probably 1 or 2 live versions of it, but it's maybe 3 actually, because the first one was live when we did Star Wars. That was a long time ago. That was fun.
We had my friend Betsy and her friend who has his own museum.
Yeah, we need to get some more people on here to talk about the movies that they love. I think it makes it more interesting. But we had to do this one. We were contractually obligated because we did the first movie, and the second movie was so hotly anticipated that we have to jump. We're a little bit late on the zeitgeist.
It's a smidge late, yeah.
We got a little bit. We got a little bit sidetracked with the whole, New York adventure and all that kind of thing. Because we were going to have this organized and in the can and ready to show or we were going to record it. And we go, as always, when I'm visiting, we get busy.
We did.
Stuff happens. We have parties and too many drinks.
We could have done a live from New York, but we didn't do.
Live from New York. It's our hotel room.
Sunsets and radio. Hey!
I know. Could you imagine on our 36th floor apartment? That was crazy. That was very high up.
The closest I've ever been to the top of the Empire State Building.
I know, it was
in the Empire State Building.
How random. You just look and you go, there's the Empire State Building.
Look at how close we are.
Ooh, it was all pretty too. I wonder if they turned the Empire State Building green for Wicked. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
They may.
They should have turned it green for this because, as I said, we had to follow this one up because it was a cult classic, and historically there was a second movie finally coming out. Today we're going to discuss
after 100 years.
Yeah, we're going to discuss Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Yes. So very, very interesting. Now, this one, has been 30 plus years in the making. It's interesting that the whole cast, or majority of the cast, was alive and still able to return.
I know.
And all that kind of stuff in this day and age when it's like,
missing people.
Look, and we will talk about that. If you haven't seen Beetlejuice, we will be spoiling it. So, if you haven't seen it,
change
don't
channels now.
Put us on pause. Watch it. But we're going to dive in to the netherworld that is this movie and see if we can make a little sense of the senselessness of death and afterlife. So this movie is set more than 3 decades after the original film and reintroduces us to Lydia Dietz, who is now a mother struggling to keep her and her daughter's relationship alive. There's a tragic loss in the family, which forces Delia to confront her past, not only her stepmother and her former life, but also her former betrothed in the form of a, demon a demon named Beetlejuice. And I think that that's a nice little recap to start with.
That's a very nice little recap to start with.
Yeah, look, definitely, like, there was interest in a sequel pretty much from the get go when this movie was, popular. And it wasn't until 2011 that it was actually put into real kind of motion. So that was a long time after the original, and it was still in development
Still
hell.
13 years before release date.
Exactly. So it has been in development hell for a long, long time. But I think, judging on the box office, it is definitely worth the wait. We will discuss that later. But let's jump in. I think it was nostalgia straight up, right? From the
Oh,
opening shots of
absolutely.
this movie, we get to see the beautiful. I still think that diorama thing, that model is like amazing. I think anyone that has A, the patience, and B, the dexterity to do that kind of stuff, I'm like, my hat's off to you.
Well, we should take you to Gettysburg.
I know, like, it's interesting, but I would be like, screw this for a joke. Like, I like get the shakes going and like, oh, snap something in half, and it's just not cute. But nostalgia straight up, because it was pretty much the beginning of the first movie. Like, that tracking shot up to the house, it was a little bit
Mhm.
more obvious that it was a. I think that HD kind of is a gift and a curse. Whereas in that first movie, we were doing those overhead shots. It was debatable whether it was the town or whether it was a model. But
Yeah.
HD, you're like, oh, that's a model. That's definitely a model. But we are reintroduced to Lydia Dietz, of course, the one and only Winona Ryder. And she is now a talk show host slash paranormal adventuring superstar, a
Right.
psychic. Yes, on a TV show called Ghost House, which the set is modelled after the attic of her childhood home. Winona, I think Winona picked up where she left off. Definitely,
Oh,
it was good to
absolutely.
see her back, and as this character as well. I think that she, picked it up, and the vibe was right with her. I think she was all
Hmm.
good to see how that character would have aged and
Right.
changed. Uh, we find out that she also has a daughter now, as does happen in like 30 years.
Yes.
Young woman by the name of Astrid. Now, Astrid is played by modern day horror it girl, and I think obviously the modern day equivalent of Winona Ryder, right?
Right.
Jenna
I
Ortega.
agree.
She's very much the new creepy girl. She's done quite well for herself though. She's getting those franchises under her belt and living the dream. Becoming a huge star in her own right, and is an amazing actress out of this genre as well. So
Yes.
she's done, yes, but I think she plays Astrid with the sullen grace that Winona played Lydia in her teenage years.
Well, I mean, I think the thing that made Lydia and Astrid so um, relatable is this angst is every teenage girl. This is
I
the
think every
angst.
teenager.
Every teenager, yes.
I don't even think we need to We've all felt outside and other.
Right. That
Yeah,
teenage angst, they both just embodied it so well.
yeah, and she does that. She does that vibe well. We've seen it with Wednesday. I mean, Wednesday is a runaway success, and of course, it's not that far removed, really.
No.
Maybe a little less goth than Wednesday, but that's okay. You can't always be gothing it up. But she's definitely estranged from her mother. We will
Yes.
say a strange and awkward relationship, not unlike Lydia with her parental units at the time. Uh, but we find out that her ex-husband,
Lydia's
Astrid's father,
father.
No, no. Well, I mean, we're talking
Oh,
about
okay. Lydia's
Richard.
like
We're
husband.
getting there. We're
Okay.
getting there.
Uh,
We're getting there. Richard died. So, yeah. Let's see. I have. Well, I'll save it for a little bit later. But yeah, Astrid's father died in the Amazon.
Lydia's
Full
father
stop.
died in the Amazon. Esther's father is in the movie.
Astrid's father isn't. No, Astrid's father died. Went missing. Sorry,
Okay.
went missing. Yes. So she's taping a show, episode of her show, and we have, I guess, what we're supposed to question whether it's a PTSD flashback or a real flashback of a certain striped suit watching her from the audience. And I kind of like that vibe that she, even though even early on in the film, where to question whether Lydia is sane. I mean, we know where it's headed, but when you have that kind of, I guess, trauma in your childhood years, it obviously will follow you. And she's been, using that as ammunition to further her career. We meet her partner slash producer slash leech, Justin Thoreau. He's very smarmy in this. I would like a little bit more greasy though. Like I feel like we could have upped the villain stakes a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought
Justin.
Justin was a little underplayed and a little underwritten.
Yeah, I feel like we were a little. He was playing for like the mid rows, not the back,
Right.
and that's my criticism of a couple of appearances in this movie. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. So we're
Mhm.
learning that Lydia has been medicating to stop seeing certain spirits, and try and make her life more doable in
Mhm.
a genre where I guess it's hard. You've got to be engaging with. We'd have to ask Renata. Engaging with the spirits all the time.
She was Renata personified.
Yeah. But there is a break in the tension and the drama when we have what is it? Text diarrhea. I think it's described uh, from Lydia's stepmother, Delia, of course, played to the T
Of course.
by Catherine O'Hara. She's
She is always playing to the back row.
um a little under though.
Really? I thought she was
I
wonderful.
thought that character would have. She seems to have mellowed with age a little bit. That character.
Well,
When you watch Delia, I will rebuild this house and take you all with me. Like the screaming and the savageness. I feel
uh,
like this movie isn't as dark as the first one.
well, Delia and Lydia have a relationship in
Yeah,
this.
they've
They
built
did
a
not
relationship
really have
over
a
time.
relationship in the first one.
Yes. As she said, as Lydia says later, just when I got famous, and then Lydia says, "No, I decided to like you earlier than that." So,
Yes.
okay. But yeah, I feel like it's not even in the way that they interact. It's not as dark and poisonous as it once was.
Right,
And
right.
that would explain it if
But
they
that's
have.
also that teenage angst and,
Yeah, she
you know,
mellowed her out, I guess. But we have the revelation that Lydia's father,
died.
Charles, died not in a plane crash, not in a plane crash, but eaten by a shark. Now, what did you think? What did you think about this revelation and the way that they handled this? It was very interesting.
Well, they had to make sure there was no room for anybody to ever come back for a sequel.
Of course, the actor that originally played Charles has been involved in some nasty allegations and
No, I think he's involved in prison.
yeah, and all that kind of stuff. So
I don't
we,
think there's anything alleged at this point.
I know, but we had to, we have to find ways to get creative without him appearing in the film. So we do a claymation
Yeah,
thing. It was interesting. And they gave that character a lot of airtime considering, you know,
right.
the. But I think they had to as well. I think, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. The best way to do it is do it in a funny way that at least,
Well,
kind of.
claymation was part of the original too.
Yeah, I know, but this one,
Yeah.
it's very modern claymation. It's very bright. Oh no, he didn't die in the plane crash. He was
It's
eaten
been
by a
30
shark.
years. It's been 30 years.
Yeah, well, that's all good. So they have to return home dun, 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 to Winter River, Connecticut. Now the iconic house still stands.
Yep.
Yes. And beautiful. Like that location is just so beautiful, and like when you see, what movie you're in. Basically, it's so
Mm.
like specific and place, time specific. You go, oh, okay, we're watching a Beetlejuice movie. That's
Right.
that's awesome. So I love it when they show up to Astrid, because Astrid won't answer her mother's phone calls. The alleged mother is my favorite. My favorite thing on the phone. It's alleged mother. It's all. But of course, who do you send to get a message through? You send Delia
Yeah.
screaming in the driveway of the private school for attention. Your
It was a
mummy has
beautiful
lost
scene.
her daddy. It did smell a little of Moira Rose, I must say.
I think it just was classic Catherine.
Catherine O'Hara. So, in the midst of all this, Delia has become quite a renowned artist. She had her own space, and this is kind of where the B plot twists off into the netherworld, because she had a famous, I think it was French graffiti artist working on her display and had to cancel him, and he walked down the street and fell down an open manhole, only to wake in the netherworld. And again,
Yep.
super recognizable. The
Right.
archways, the coloration, like the production design is at least in sync with what it was, with its original movie.
Very consistent.
Very consistent. I like that, and it's very, it's
Very
reassuring.
very homage.
Very homage, very homage. We we are introduced to a janitor character, and seeing the back of that head, I was like, I know that voice. I know that voice. And then, of course, we get the close up. Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Right? It's like,
I
come
did
on.
know before I sat down in the theater that
I
Danny
didn't.
DeVito was in
I
it.
didn't
Yes.
know that he was in it. I was like, okay,
So I
cool.
didn't have any hesitation. Like, oh, there he is.
That's cool. It's nice
Yeah.
to see him just pop up in a movie somewhere, and you're like, excellent. So he's the janitor in the afterlife, sending Letigre off to get his number and wait. Good to see that, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Right.
We like to stay with our numbered system and wait and wait and wait and wait. But there's a little bit of an accident whilst cleaning, which leads to the reconstruction and revelation of Beetlejuice's first wife, Dolores.
Yes, that was a
Yes.
shocker.
Monica
That
Bellucci.
did came out of the blue to me.
It did, who quickly disperses a poor Danny DeVito by sucking his soul and leaving him a sack of skin on the floor.
It was a cameo.
It was a cameo, yep. He had a Drew Barrymore moment. It's okay. So, meanwhile, in Connecticut, in Winter River, the house itself has gone into mourning. We love it. The shroud over the house, and of course, I keep going to say Moira. Delia has decided to make this an art installation, the embodiment of grief, because she's going to disappear right up her own ass, as most artists do. But the choir singing Deo, did you love?
Yes.
I think if it hadn't, it was perfect in the one of the trailers, so I knew it was coming. But it's still great, and I love. Part of me just wanted to see Moira, Delia, have a little twitch, like have a little moment, and be like
Gonna
little
give you
PTSD, yeah, a little
a
PTSD of her
little
own,
Schitt's
going,
Creek adjustment.
yeah, just be like, oh, start to dance, and she's like, no, 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 I'm possessed. It's all good. It's all good. So again, I feel like we could have upped the smarminess on Rory / Justin Theroux, because
Yeah.
he's using this moment to propose to Lydia. Like, the gaslighting is so strong in this. It's like, you can't smell that, but we find out later that he also had a first fiance, whoops, who mysteriously carked it. Whoops, whoopsie daisy. So while they agree to be wed, Astrid is not happy and takes off on a bike, and that is some high speed racing she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, smash
And no,
into a
and
fence.
as the drone follows her,
Yeah,
it's like, ooh, a little
yeah,
motion sick here.
yeah. It was very well shot. They smash through a fence, and she meets Jeremy Fraser, a local kid who is her shelter from the storm, and invites her to spend Halloween with him, even though that's the day that Delia, my God, Lydia and Rory are going to get married, because that's what they do. But all in all, we have been reintroduced to Beetlejuice at this time. I thought it was a little bit of an underwhelming reintroduction. It's just like, there he is. You would think there would be some kind of hype, but we see he is still carrying his flame for his child bride, which is a little bit creepy.
Kind of creepy.
Kind of creepy, but
And when we rewatched that, I was like, oh, that age difference is kind of creepy.
yeah, he's hundreds of years old, and she's like 16 or 15,
Yeah.
right? I think, whatever. But I think Michael Keaton steps straight back into this role.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not really. So sometimes it's hard when you have these characters that have been absent from the screen in such a long time, and the actors get older. They don't necessarily translate as much. But he was Beetlejuice straight away. The voice, the physicality, like
Right.
everything. And I wonder what the process was for him to get back into that, because it's been a hot minute since Beetlejuice, and he's done so much.
Well, he had to remember what he did to embody it the first time.
I know. It's like 30 years ago. Wow. But he survived his wait in the waiting room of the afterlife, and he is now head of the bioexorcists. See, look, never say that you can't get some kind of redemption story. He was punished, but now he's the head of it. He's the head of the place.
Who knew the Peter principle was alive in hell?
And we see Bob, Shrunken Head Bob, makes a return. Bob's
Everybody
so
loves
cute.
Shrunken Head Bob.
I know, he's so cute. We're also introduced here to Wolf Jackson, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
I don't really remember seeing Willem Dafoe in many comedy things. I just
He did do Saturday. He hosted Saturday Night Live.
I was maybe like in a film, like
yeah.
in a
I've
big,
seen him in a lot of like
weird.
drama.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. I have gravitas.
Yeah, look at it. So Wolf Jackson is a detective. Well, first of all, he's a former actor turned detective. and he is on the hunt for Dolores. He has come to let Beetlejuice know that his ex-wife is draining souls and headed for him. And we get the backstory of the couple meeting in the Black Plague in Italy.
Yes.
I love him just like picking through people's mouths for gold teeth and stuff. You're like, oh, Beetlejuice, you were always a scumbag. It's nice to know. Like, you were always a scumbag. So Dolores, I guess, was drawn to that. But later,
apparently eternally attracted.
Yeah, later,
she's carried a grudge.
Yeah, she kills him so she can be immortal.
Right.
But well,
that's part of that soul sucking thing.
Yeah, turnabout's fair play because he managed to kill her before he died as well. So I guess in for a penny, in for a pound. We go, and it's toxic relationship taken to the nth degree. Into the afterlife, living the dream. And Astrid finds the attic at this point as well. And it's nice to see it. Beetlejuice is still trying. The flyer pops out. She's like, ew, gross. Just throws him away. No one's taking Lydia seriously, though, when she says, don't say that name. Don't say that name.
Right.
I like it that Astrid says it twice, and then the little sign says it twice, and he's like, I'm coming. Someday soon, I will be back for you. But Lydia's still having the PTSD moments of seeing these black and white moments in her life, and still questioning. But I think being back in the house and being back with Delia, especially back with Delia, is probably driving it home that and the flyer. I mean, the flyer is the proof that she needs, I guess, that he is just waiting. He's like, hello. Right. Okay. But the apple, it appears, does not fall far from the tree. And I got this twist before it was spelt out. That Jeremy is in fact a ghost.
Yes.
When we didn't see faces of mum and dad, when she came the second time, came to visit him the second time, I was like, oh, they're all dead. I'm like, that's a trope. That's a trope that I've seen a lot of times. It was a
you have a little more murder, suicide tropes going on than I do.
It was very American Horror Story, actually. He gave me big Evan Peters energy, that kid. He was like, I'm like, oh, yeah, you're giving me weird Evan Peters vibe. I bet you killed yourself or something. And, not incorrect, because for some reason, he has the handbook for the recently deceased. I mean, that was a bit of a giveaway as well.
Yeah.
He did say he picked it up from a shop in town, which does, which could have been because we
Delia picked it up, or not Delia. Delia's art dealer picked it up in the first movie.
And we know that book was in town because Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin character had it. I like that they did not reference them as well. They were like, oh, we found a loophole and they were allowed to move on.
Yeah.
Delia did the right thing, I guess. I guess that's part of her growing up because we leave the first movie with them being de facto parents for her.
Right.
And so
loco parenti.
That's nice little, I guess, closure without us having to see it. Because Gina Davis was like, yeah, ghosts don't age, so I don't think I'm coming back for Beetlejuice. But they can do wonderful things with de-aging. It would have been nice to see them, but I guess Alec Baldwin is problematic as well at the moment, so it's like...
Well, I mean, look at the anti-aging they did with Tom Hanks for his new movie. Have you seen any of the trailers for that?
I have heard the reviews. Ouch.
Well, I was just thinking of the CGI work that was done on making he and Robin Wright young.
Not everything can be Forrest Gump.
Right.
I think they're learning the the Meg Ryan lesson, you know, and
Hmm.
you can reteam with your famous co-star as many times as you like, but you can't always catch lightning in a bottle.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, we find out from one of the local, or the local realtor, that Jeremy murdered his parents 23 years prior and died when the police tried to arrest him, which is not the story he
But
has
he told.
told Astrid. So already sinister, and that kid plays sinister quite well.
Hmm.
So in order to, you know, come back to life, he wants to come back to life. I don't know what the motivation is there, though.
He did tell us, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, if you kill your parent, I guess, you know, he didn't want to. Maybe he didn't want to die. He wanted to get away with killing his parents. That's okay. That's okay. You know,
Right.
some many people do. Look at the Menendezes. Um,
I knew that was coming. I had a
you
psychic.
smelt it. You smelt it.
A little psychic flash. She's going to the Menendez brothers.
So he's convincing Astrid to come to the Netherworld with him. What Astrid doesn't realize is that she'll be trapped there forever, so he can get another shot at life. But he tempts her with saying that she'll be able to see her father again, which is a big thing because the big, I guess the biggest sticking point between Astrid and Lydia is the fact that Lydia can't communicate with the spirit of Astrid's
Right.
father. That just seems to be the one block. So I think Astrid's going to get a crash course in the afterlife now. Very much so. So Lydia does the one thing that she knows. Well, she calls for the help of the one person she knows can get the job done
She does.
by uttering three simple words: Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
It's actually one word three
Beetlejuice.
times.
Yeah. Either way. I do love him like rising. That was cool. Looks like out of, but it's from behind, I'm pretty sure. Behind the set. The juice is loose. It's like, yeah. We see you. We see you. And still in love. Like that's dedication. So Beetlejuice he's gonna close that deal this time around. He makes Lydia sign a marriage contract in exchange for him saving Astrid. I like the fact that we have a mix of practical effects and CGI here in the Netherworld. The receptionist, the old skeleton receptionist, which is obviously a practical effect, but you can't make stuff like that look like that convincingly. There's a reason that practical effects still exist, because to match the tone and the vision of the first movie, if they were to have a CGI AI created correctly anatomically correct skeleton, it wouldn't match the vibe of the first movie.
Right.
Yeah, so it's I like that we get the fire. He's constantly going up in flames too this time. He's like, oh. Just like constantly going in flames and blowing up a wall, blowing a wall between the two dimensions as he does. That's what he does.
He likes this dimension better than the other one.
Yeah. Oh, he likes to be bi-coastal, I guess. Right. And in his absence, Beetlejuice has disguised Bob as he. I love just a big black and white suit, and all of the employees are just, there's a decoy, I guess. But Wolf is now on Beetlejuice's tail because, you can't bring these live people. You can't be bringing these live people to the Netherworld. But I guess it tells us how good a detective Wolf is when he captures Bob. I mean, he's dealt face to face with Beetlejuice and still thinks that shrunken-headed Bob is Beetlejuice.
Right.
But it's sad. This is sad. because Dolores catches up with Bob and, drains him. Bob is no more. That's a sad moment.
That is a sad thing.
That's like an unexpectedly sad moment. I was like, oh.
Yes, everybody was sad. The whole theater went, oh.
Yeah. The one thing I was going to say I didn't see coming, but I totally saw coming because it's so Delia when she was in her expression of grief when she gets those snakes that have definitely been not poisonous, they've been defanged, and then does her ritual and is of course bitten in
Wrong.
tandem, and dies. I was like, that is so very much,
Yes.
very much correct. I love seeing her deal with the bureaucracy of the afterlife as well. It's very,
Right.
very
And
cute.
it has a Moira moment, Moira moment.
We love it. We love it. So Beetlejuice and Lydia search for Astrid. And yeah, Jeremy's like fast pacing her through this bureaucracy. I wonder who he's paid off. Like he's like, we saw Beetlejuice's waiting number was like 900, like, and he's just like, yeah, we're going, we're doing it, we're doing it. What did you think of the Soul Train to the Great Beyond?
It was good.
I hope that's what the afterlife is like.
It was very fun. Very camp.
I know.
A soul train. Yes. Makes total sense to me. The souls would ride a soul train.
I love it. I think it was very cute. I think it was very, very cute. I just the imagery is just spot on though from the first movie. I'm like, ee. So Lydia saves her daughter just before the Soul Train departs. Good on her. And they escape through a portal in Saturn's moon Titan. Because as you do.
Of course, the infinite universe. You got to go someplace you know.
Yeah. That's right. So Richard saves them from a sandworm. That makes sense. That's where the sandworms come from.
Right.
Makes all kinds of sense,
Did close that little loophole.
It did close that little loophole. And Beetlejuice does what he's supposed to do. He gets rid of Jeremy. Bye-bye. You go to the hot place. And Richard shows Lydia and Astrid how to return to the living world. Oh,
yes.
Cute moments. I like it when they actually put a cap on things and go, all right, cool. We're going to resolve things. It's not just going to be all motivation. We will resolve. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. I do like the teaming up of Beetlejuice and Delia, though.
Yes.
I feel like we could have had a little bit more of that. They were very good together.
And they worked well together.
Yeah,
that same old chemistry came back, Only Delia was able to respond as an adult.
And not scream.
Yeah.
I love it.
But
I love it. I love it. But see, I think we get a lot of character development for Delia too, because her motivation in this isn't for art or it's for Charles. She wants to find Charles.
Right.
She wants, that, and that's nice. It's nice to see that.
And there's growth. There's growth in her relationship with Lydia. There's growth in her as an artist. There's that first movie. She was very one-dimensional. She's fleshed out a little more.
Yeah. And it is touching to see like the realization that Delia's there and Lydia's like, oh, you're dead. I'm sad. It's like, it is sad. It's like, oh, yeah. So yeah, we get back home. We get back home for the wedding. Now, I feel like this for me is where we fall off a little bit. Like the
Well,
truth serum and the musical piece that I mean, you are never gonna match the Deo scene. Like
never.
it's never. I did like how every now and then you just see Beetlejuice playing the guitar and lip syncing. It's cute, but I just don't know if it did as well. I'm going to be fully honest. This is where I fell asleep.
Well, I was
like,
in a theater. I didn't fall asleep. It was
I
very
watched it at
loud.
home.
It was very loud. um, yeah, I feel that this is where the plot got thin. This is where like you've put too many wheels in motion, and
Exactly. I feel
now
like
you have
there's a
to.
lot going on, and we got to wrap it up
Yeah,
real
you
quick.
gotta land the plane, and you're missing. You're hitting high winds, and the plane's.
Yeah, I feel like maybe we didn't need the Dolores storyline.
Right.
Like Monica Bellucci was great, but I don't know that she was given enough to do. It could have been its own film. That whole thing could have been its own
Well,
film.
yeah, it could have been a sequel or
Yeah,
a sidebar kind of film.
yeah, but it was just
And there were so many storylines that
I know.
were added
So
in.
yeah, we're trying to wrap up the fact that Delia's dead, looking for Charles. We're trying to wrap up the relationship stuff. We've managed to wrap up the dead dad stuff with Astrid, but we're still trying to, manage the Astrid thing. We've got the homicidal ghost that wants to be alive. We've got a detective hunting Beetlejuice. We've got Beetlejuice's ex-wife hunting Beetlejuice. We've got a real-life douchebag who's trying to take Lydia for her money.
Yep.
It's just like it's a lot going on, and it's just like this. It kind of fell a bit flat. I don't know. It was maybe even the song choice. It's just like it didn't have the. Ugh.
And again, I say that the Justin Theroux's role was underwritten and underacted.
Yeah, he should have been like capital V villain if it was like greasy, smarmy.
He's a nepo baby, I think.
Yeah.
He's not a trained actor. He's not got a lot of technique.
I've seen him do well in other stuff though. Like I just don't know if this was.
You know what? Dying's easy. Comedy's hard.
Totally agree.
Totally agree. He was up against some really big hitters.
Yeah, and especially like with an iconic character like Beetlejuice, you're going to fade into the background. But then you've got Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara. It's just like you're definitely slipping down the list of important characters in this movie.
Right.
It's just like I feel like this if anything, I maybe would have taken the Dolores storyline out of it.
Yes.
And maybe it might have given everything else a little bit more room to breathe. And just like
right.
Yeah. But we get a sandworm return because we need one. Hello. What's Beetlejuice movie without a sandworm?
Sandworm.
And of course, Astrid being the Gen Z that she is, she's found the loophole for her mother. Because, contractually, Beetlejuice broke the rules again by bringing Lydia to the afterworld, the netherworld, which makes the marriage contract null and void.
Yep.
And then it's time for Beetlejuice to go bye-bye / bang bang. I did like that. And that was a good use of CGI, the talking piece of Beetlejuice. It was like, oh.
Right.
Not a very final death. This one was it?
Nope.
Like the first one, it was very like, yep, bye bye. I did like the pairing of Wolf and Delia at the end. You know, that was a cute little thing. But most importantly, she was reunited with Charles, and they can go to the great beyond that together on the soul train. They didn't get on though, which,
right?
Question mark. And as everything returns to as normal as they get in this universe, Lydia ends her program saying that she's going to spend more time with the people she loves, the alive people that she loves. We didn't mention Baby Beetlejuice before, or Baby Juice as I call him. I think when he makes his first appearance, exploding out of Lydia, but we get this like end credits, Baby Beetlejuice. He's kind of cute.
He is kind of cute.
He is kind of cute. But Lydia has a nightmare that Astrid births a baby Beetlejuice. But it's all is not what it seems as she wakes up from the nightmare to have another nightmare that Beetlejuice continues to haunt her. End credits.
And credits. You would think that after the first movie, that would be lifetime PTSD.
You would think that. But as we noted, she didn't get rid of him. He's still there.
Right.
He's still there. And I think that we can tell why, because the reaction to this movie was, I think, unprecedented. From the budget was estimated to be between $99 and $100 million. Currently sitting at $451 million.
Wow.
Nostalgia, huh?
Yes. Well, that's why I went. Isn't that why you went? You know? Yeah.
Well,
and the nostalgia factor was a lot of what made this movie a success.
Yeah.
You know, because you wanted to see what happened to Shrunkhead Bob. You know, you wanted to see where the sand. You wanted those things. Those were iconic parts of the first film that had to be in there.
They were.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when this movie came, it was everywhere. Like, it was everywhere. It still is. Like, if you go to stores now, there's Beetlejuice everything. Like, there's Beetlejuice everything everywhere. Especially at Halloween time. It was like, okay.
At Halloween time, it was crazy.
There's Beetlejuice. I'm surprised we didn't see more. You know?
We saw it here in the States.
More Beetlejuice at Halloween walking around.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't out on Halloween night. I was in a restaurant. You were out.
I was out. So
you were experiencing your Halloween, American
Halloween.
Halloween.
It was amazing. So when asked about the potential for a third film, Tim Burton says, "Let's do the math. It took 35 years to do this, so I'll be over 100. But I guess it's impossible with the advent of science these days, but I don't think so." But Michael Keaton has gone on record saying that he would love to do a Beetlejuice movie a year.
Yes, I did hear him say that.
That's how much fun he had going back to the character.
Yeah.
And I think there are more stories you could definitely tell. If anything, you need to look, and this is going to go into my, I guess, end credit review of it all. You look at the animated series that they did, and it told so many different stories, but still within the realm of that world that the original movie created. And at the end of the day, that's what I was more familiar with. As a kid, I don't remember seeing the movie in bits and pieces. I can't ever remember seeing it full out, but I did watch the TV show. So I knew who Beetlejuice was.
Right.
But I didn't have that kind of that a lot of people do for this movie. A lot of people, the original's their favorite movie. It's like the thing that
makes Halloween
or makes anything, really.
You can't have Halloween until you've seen Hocus Pocus and Beetlejuice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But nostalgia can only go so far. And I think that we've already discussed that there are shortcomings in the plot and perhaps the writing. Do you think it was worth revisiting?
Oh, yeah. I didn't regret going to see it. I didn't, I enjoyed it. It hit enough nostalgia notes for me to go, yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Didn't damage the brand, do you think? Wasn't a great movie. But it wasn't a bad movie in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
enough. Like you were saying, sometimes you cannot capture the lightning in a bottle twice. The original Beetlejuice was pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Catherine uh, O'Hara's Deo scene. My God, that's iconic. That's the kind of cinematic moment that people die for. You know,
Yep.
you're never going to hit that kind of moment again. That was magic.
Yeah.
But there was enough really good moments in it to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. Look, I think that you've you've hit the nail on the head there. I think that there's enough people that wanted it, they've got it, and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So what will happen now will be interesting to see. I mean, they could definitely do more. There's been so many scripts about for however long. I mean, one of the scripts was Beetlejuice in Hawaii. Like, they can take this character anywhere. Yeah, they can take this character anywhere, and it may not. It just means it may not be Lydia Deetz. It may be someone else. It may be.
It could be Astrid's story.
You never know. It could be
Astrid's story. Astrid and baby Beetlejuice.
I feel like we're going to see more of it. I feel like I've got to.
I think we could. Yeah.
I feel like we've got something. But we've done our due diligence. We are going to leave the netherworld and the comfort of our cinema for now, and we will be back sometime soon. But thank you for joining me, Vera. It's been
I
wonderful.
love doing this. You know that.
And we do put the invitation out. If you have a film that you are a mega fan of and you would love to sit in here with us, we would love you to do so. Please contact us via social media and give us a little bit of love. But until next time, this has been Assigned Seating. Thank you for watching Uncensored Radio, and we will see you again when the next session begins, folks.
We could do Wicked next. We could do Wicked next.
You never know. We'll have to wait and see. Till then, arrivederci, folks. Bye.
Ciao.
Any second now. Bye, everyone. Anytime.